Question number 16. In a school of 120 children, a teacher found out the distance d meters that each child could swim. The results were grouped as shown in the table. A pie chart is drawn to represent this information. Calculate the angle which represents the number of children in group B. Okay, the angle here is then 50 divided by the total number of children, 120 times 360 degrees for a pie chart. That's going to make it 3 times this is going to be 150 degrees. Here's your answer. A histogram is drawn to represent the information. Calculate the frequency densities for each group. Remember, frequency densities is equal to frequency divided by class width. So the first one is 30 over 100. And that's going to make it 0.3. The second one is group B, 50 over 100. Because 200 minus 100 is 200. So 0.5. And then 40 divided by 400 minus 200 is 200. 1 over 5 is 0.2. So I got then 0.2. So this is the third part. A man traveled by car from home to the library and later from the library to the dentist. Home to the library, library to dentist. The kilometer readings in his car were as follows. The man passed the cinema between the home and the dentist. Between home and dentist, there's a cinema somewhere in between these, home and dentist. At the cinema, the man had traveled half the distance between the home and the dentist. Now let's find between the home and the dentist first. That's 996 kilometers. Minus home, 888, so that's 10 minus 2, which is 808. And half of that distance is this divided by 2. Now we know from here to here, we got 108 kilometers. And then this is 54. 54 kilometers is the distance between home and the dentist. At the cinema, the man had traveled half the distance between the home and the dentist, or the cinema. So between home and the cinema, home and cinema, we've got 54 kilometers. Calculate the distance between the cinema and the library. Let's say the cinema is somewhere here. The distance here. Now, what is the distance between the library, between the home and the library? Home and library. Between home and library. 944 minus 888. So 56 kilometers. So between home and library we got 56 kilometers. Between home and cinema got 54 kilometers. 56 minus 54 is 2 kilometers. So between cinema and library, 2 kilometers. So here we are, 2 kilometers. Now, let us see. Given that the given readings are accurate to the nearest tenth of a kilometer. So 1/10 of a kilometer is 0.1 kilometers. If I want the upper bound and the lower bound, I must take 0.1 divided by 2. At the upper bound and lower bound. Okay, so how are we going to do this? Calculate the upper bound for the distance traveled between home and dentist. Now between home and dentist there was 108 kilometers. So we're going to take 100, so divide this, 0.05 kilometers. So between home and dentist is 108. So the upper bound is going to be 108 kilometers plus 0.05. So 108.05 kilometers. Alright, so here we are. Question number 18. The diagram shows the distance time graph for a journey by water taxi. Calculate them in meters per second here, the speed during the first 4 minutes. 4 minutes. So speed is equal to distance over time. The distance here is 600. So 600 divided by 4, that's going to make it 150 meters per minute. Now, this is 60 seconds. So in 60 seconds, 150 meters. In 1 second, it's going to be 150 divided by 60, and that's going to make it 2.5. So we got then 2.5 meters per second. The average speed for the whole journey. Okay, to complete the journey, the average speed for the complete journey, 10 seconds, 1,200 meters. So that's going to be 120 meters per minute. Again, in 1 minute, I've got 60 seconds. So 120 divided by 60 is going to give you 2 per second. So 2 meters per second. They calculate the time whilst moving as a percentage of the total time taken. Time that the object was moving. 4 seconds, 4 seconds. 4 plus 4 is 8, and therefore get 8 over 10 times 100%. That's going to make it 80%. Okay. Second part. The first 2 stages of another journey are shown on the distance time graph in the answer space. The water taxi travels from A for 4 minutes. 4 minutes, the taxi was moving, and then it stops here for 2 minutes, 5, 6, 2 minutes, to pick up passengers before returning to A. It's returning to A. It's not going anywhere, it's going back. So that means it's going to come back here. If this is A, it's going to come back to A. This was like from A to B. I mean, the other ones was from A to B. Okay, complete the distance time graph in the answer space if a further 3 minutes was taken to complete the journey. From here, 1, 2, 3. So there we go. So to complete the graph, I'm going to go down because it's returning. That's it. Question number 19. In a restaurant, prices were reduced by 30%. After the reduction, a meal of braised whole shark's fin with crab meat cost 280 rupees. Calculate the cost of the meal before the reduction. Now, if it's been reduced by 30%, it's going to become 70 over 100 times the price before the reduction. Let that be x, is equal to 280 rupees. Therefore, x is going to be equal to 280, the 100 multiply on the other side, and this is multiplied, so it becomes divide. And here we are. Before the reduction, it was 400 rupees. For the second part, the rate of exchange is £1 is equal to 25 rupees. Calculate the... Hi, question number 20. Calculate the value of n cubed minus n when n is equal to 4. So that means 4 to the cube minus 4, which is 64 minus 4. Answer is 60. Second part, n is equal to minus 2. Therefore, we got minus 2 to the cube minus minus 2. That becomes minus 8 plus 2 is equal to minus 6. Part B, we need to factorize n cubed minus n. That is the same as n into n squared minus 1. You remember this is the difference of two squares. So that means n plus 1 times n minus 1 times n, of course, factorized completely. And for the part C, give a reason why n cubed minus n is divisible by 2 for any integer value of n. So for any integer value of n, n cubed minus n is an even number. Hence, divisible by 2. How do we know this? Look here, the number was 4, the result is 60. 60 is an even number, and that's divisible by 2. Here it was minus 2, and the result is minus 6. Minus 6 is a negative integer, a negative even number, and that also is divisible by 2. So we reach that conclusion here.